Good afternoon, honorable guests and dignitaries, respected colleagues, research scholars of SNU, and dear students. This is my great privilege to welcome you all on the occasion of the special lecture session on Amrit, Kaal, Vimarsh, Viksit, Bharat at 24/7. It's our great honor to have Shobha Mishra Ghosh madam here as the keynote speaker of the session. She is currently the Director and Head Government Affairs and Policy, India and Southeast Asia of GE Healthcare. We welcome you, ma'am, in our program. We are eagerly waiting to listen to her session, but let's begin the program in a musical note. Mrs. Smita Datta Chaudhary, faculty member, Department of Performing Arts, and her students are ready with their presentation. Ma'am, you may begin with your program. So that was the traditional welcome song from the students and research scholars of the Performing Arts Department, Sister Nivedita University. Thanks the students, scholars, and Smita madam for their rendition. Let's move on to the next part of the program. I would now request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, our Honorable guest to come in front of the stage and water the plant. I would also like to invite Dr. Minal Parikh, Dr. Sumoli Pine, and Professor Prabal Rayachudhuri to join, please. If any other departmental dean and HODs are here in the seminar hall, you please join. Now, I would like to invite our honorable guest, Shobha ma'am, and Honorable Vice Chancellor sir on stage, please. Sir, I would request you to honor our guest. Yeah, Dr. Minal Parikh, can you please join on stage? Shumoli ma'am and Prabal sir, please. Thank you, Shumoli ma'am, Prabal sir, and Minal ma'am. Now I would request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Thrubujyoti Chattopadhyay sir, to give his welcome address.
Very good afternoon to everybody. I'm very happy to see the dear students, faculty members, the other staff members, along with our esteemed guest. Now, Sister Nivedita University is organizing the development dialogue for its student and staff members to pave the way forward for a resurgent India, a Viksit Bharat at the rate 2047. I don't know how many of you still remember, but this is an announcement made by our Prime Minister, 15th of August from Red Fort, that in 2047, we are going to be the top country in the world, and we have to work for that. Aligning itself with the Government of India's goal at developing the country by 2047 on behalf of Sister Nivedita University. We all welcome you, Madam Shobha Mishra Ghosh, the Director and Head, Government Affairs and Policy, India, South Asia G Healthcare, and we look forward to an interesting dialogue for all the participants present in this seminar hall. I again want to mention that we look at it as a dialogue. So it should not be a monologue. Madam is not going to tell, but Madam is here to interact with you, and she is very much interested to do that. And all of you should be very happy that a couple of days back when we had the Bengal Global Business Summit, she also attended the healthcare sector on behalf of the government. Now, this initiative of the Ministry of Education is an encouraging step to look at the development of the youth and the next generation of our country, make them future ready. And it's mentioned in a very nice way that we cannot afford that our youth to go empty-handed after investing so much during the many years of their education. And this is where the national education policy will make a difference. The importance of skill development is paramount for the future of India. We have to move from a country of job seeker to a country of job givers. And I just want to mention to Madam that in this respect, the Sister Nivedita University is taking very important steps. One of the major steps we have taken, Madam Bush is not here, Madam Anna Bush's presidentship. We have the center, we call it Uddog, which has got 3 different parameters under it. One is a innovation council, another is entrepreneurship, as well the other one is a patent cell. And that innovation council is there for setting up or encouraging our students and staff members to go for startups. And this is one, I'm sure that all of you agree, that which we are looking forward to have more and more startup initiatives. And we must take pride that in our culture and heritage, strength and in unity, and we are all looking forward that we should actually attend this particular vision for a Viksit Bharat. And for that particular Viksit Bharat, we always have, in recent past, we have seen that the India has experienced significant and diverse growth. The growth in culture, heritage is there, but in the science mission, in the space mission, right now we are dominating. We are going ahead with so many different things. We have Chandrayaan, we have Aditya, all the different things which are coming. And you'll be happy to know that the directorate from the Aryabhatta mission tomorrow is coming to deliver the lecture on this Aditya mission to our students. Now, we are also very happy to inform the initiative taken by the, our Honorable Chancellor to seek and inspire and engage the youth of our university and encourage them, their active participation in the development-focused ecosystem. So let us all bring together the trustees of our future generation to deliberate, discuss innovative, sustainable, and the actionable solutions, especially in the realm of social development. Now, with this, the university is looking forward to contribute in India's journey to become Atmanirbhar in the Amrit Kaal. And that's why we are here all together to listen to you, to get the motivation from you, and also to interact with you. And at the end, I just want to give my thanks to the Department of Mass Communication and Journalism and the Dean of the Mass Communication and Journalism to take the initiative and leadership for organizing this particular seminar, Professor Minal Parekh. And we are looking forward to today's lecture. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. Let's move on to the next part. We have a video prepared by the Department of Mass Communication and Journalism, Sister Nivedita University, which will showcase the activities, activities here we have performed in SNU. Udit, are we ready for the video? Yeah. Now we will move on to listen to our honorable guest. I would like to call upon Shobha Mishra Ghosh, the Director Head, Government Affairs and Policy, India and Southeast Asia, GE Healthcare. Ma'am, can you please come on stage and give your presentation?
Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, let me thank AICTE for nominating me for this very interesting lecture. And thank you, Vice Chancellor and Dean Mass Communications for organizing this, and the students who went and picked me up and brought me to this venue. You have very nicely put the context, in place. And so this lecture that is actually a development dialogue under the Amrit Kaal is essentially to sensitize students like you about across various sectors, about the issues, the challenges, the opportunities that exist, so that you, when you go out into the industry or the economy, you are able to take very informed decisions and contribute effectively. I'm sure many of you know, and I totally endorse Vice Chancellor's this thing that it should be a dialogue. I want a lot of questions, and maybe even statements if you want to make. So let's make it interactive. I don't want you to put you to sleep because I know it's post-lunch. So now, many of you must have heard about Industry 4.0. Those who have heard, please raise your hands. Fourth Industrial Revolution? I don't see any hands going up. Well, I presume that you have definitely studied about first, second industrial revolutions in your history during your school. So every time there is an industrial revolution, when does it happen? It happens when there is a innovation in communication and energy technologies, because that impacts the way we live, the way we work, and it brings about a change. So the first industrial revolution happened when steam engine was discovered or innovated, and there was, you had communication by way of postals. And then the second industrial revolution happened when electricity came in and we had telegraph. And the third industrial revolution happened when we had renewable energies, which are still not absolute, it's not been massified, but and internet came into picture. The fourth industrial revolution happened, a continuation of these exponential technologies, and that happened only in 2016, which was very, very, recent. The fifth revolution probably got triggered with COVID. When you had these exponential technologies becoming more, like you had AI, now you have ChatGPT and those kind of, technologies which are completely transforming our lives. The difference between the first and the fifth or the sixth revolution is that for the first three industrial revolution, it was 100 years apart. So it gave us the time to adjust, and there was a stability, the way the transformation happened. But since fourth industrial revolution, the exponential technologies are so rapidly evolving, and it is impacting the way we are living, the way we are working, the way we get treated, and hence most of us would be, and particularly the students would be living in a very, very uncertain and dynamic, era. And therefore, it is very essential for all of you to understand what are the changes happening. And particularly when we look at, these changes will not just be technological, but socio-economical, political, environmental, and you can see for yourself the way the world is, kind of getting into a chaotic format. And this is the era in which you have to come in and function. When we are talking about this, what COVID-19 pandemic did was brought the whole world into an inflection point. And many things that the technologies persisted. For example, there was digital technology, and so you were mentioning that, you had already started practicing, but it was not being adopted, in large format. Similarly, like, for example, telemedicine. But COVID-19, when the whole world came to a stop, digital technologies were the only thing that came to our rescue. And suddenly, we found that healthcare, which was always, and particularly in India, it was never a priority for political, personalities, it suddenly came into the limelight. And world over, the entire healthcare system kind of collapsed. Even for the industries, if for the countries that, you know, spend about 17% of GDP, like USA or even, Germany or France, about to the tune of 7% of GDP, they were also brought to the knees. India was, of course, pretty much in the same role. And what it did was it brought healthcare into priority. So today, I will be talking with this background regarding future of health sector. This is not coming onto the, okay. So my presentation will actually look at the overview of the health sector, the trends that are there, and I will deep dive a little bit on the private health provider and medtech sector, and then we'll talk about a bit of employment opportunity, and then I want to talk a little bit about my company, GE Healthcare, from where I come. So what I have tried to do is map the health evolution in our country since the time we got independence. And if you see across, I mean, the data is all there, whether we talk about population, life expectancy, or, you know, various other parameters like infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, we have progressed quite significantly, and in 2030, we will still be progressing. Having said that, you know, we are still, when you benchmark it to the global parameters, we are still falling short. And so therefore, there is much scope and opportunity to innovate and come up with, solutions that will help us to achieve these goals better. In 1947, health was not considered a priority. In 2022, it became a priority. By 2030, we hope to achieve health for all. Now, when you look at the health subsectors, there are about 10 to 12 subsectors that form the entire healthcare. So it's basically, of course, we all know healthcare means doctors, hospitals, right? Hospitals, clinics, diagnostic labs, pharmaceutical, medtech, but there are so medical devices. But in the recent time, health IT, health insurance, health financing, all these companies are information and education, these are coming into the play and gaining more and more importance. There are three, circles in the outlier. So medical value travel is another area where, because healthcare is extremely expensive in the developed world, and we provide healthcare at 1/10 of the cost. So a lot of people who can't afford, healthcare or do not have those facilities, particularly from the countries like Africa, CIS countries, South Asia, they come to India for, treatment. And it's a booming sector of almost 9 billion approximately. Health IT, you see, is going to really, kind of explode with becoming 500 billion US dollar market by 2025. And we also have digital startups that are coming in. That's a big area. We today also have the IT majors like, Google, Alphabet, Microsoft, IBM, Intel, because of their access to data and their capabilities in deep tech. They are coming into healthcare. So it's really an opportunity for everybody to come in. When we look at the Indian health system, it's a pretty well-defined system, and you see that there is a very robust public sector as well as private sector. And on the left side, you can see, the public health system is stronger in the primary, secondary care level. And in the recent time with Ayushman Bharat, which is a scheme that has been, launched in 2014 by Prime Minister Modi, a lot of focus has gone into preventive care with setting up of health and wellness centers. And as I mentioned, during COVID, telemedicine became, the only way to have any kind of interaction with the doctor. So they also set up the e-Sanjeevani platform through which teleconsultations happen. If you look at the right side, that's the private sector. where a lot of innovations are happening. Apart from the traditional tertiary, quaternary, specialized hospitals, you have telehealth, daycare centers, home care, rehabilitation centers. There are senior citizens' homes which are coming up. And of course, there is a private health insurance robust sector that kind of covers about 10% of the population. But the bulk of the population, about almost 50% of the population, is covered through PMJ, that is the Prime Minister Jan Arogya Yojana under Ayushman Bharat, and there are state health insurance also that top up. And it covers basically below poverty line population and some bit of above poverty line. But that still leaves almost 40 to 45% of out-of-pocket expenditure. And there is about 30 to 40 crore population that misses either the private health insurance bucket or the social health insurance bucket. And therefore, one incidence of health disease, a cancer or cardiovascular disease or any kind of NCDs, it pushes them into penury. And that is the challenge that we have to still deal with. These are some of the schemes. I did speak about Ayushman Bharat and government, central government also. So healthcare is a concurrent subject. So basically the central government forms the broad policy framework and does a limited, kind of healthcare delivery through hospitals like AIMS and PGMIR, etc. But bulk of the state health is state responsibility. And to drive that, there are a lot of schemes and programs like the National Health Mission. Then there are these National Center for Vector-Borne Diseases, NACO, which deals with AIDS, and so forth, that kind of helps take the healthcare program or provision to the towards the interior of the, in tier 2, tier 3 and rural areas of the country. Well, I did mention about the public spend. India spends only about 2.2% of GDP. And when you compare it with USA, it is 17%, China is 7%, Germany 12.8%. Bangladesh also has 2.8%. That's, higher than India. And you can imagine the population of 1.4 billion, so there is always a deficit of funding in the public spend in the country, and therefore private sector plays a very, very big role. Almost 80% of healthcare is in private sector. 80% of doctors and nurses are in private sectors. And, which is catering to 20% of the population. The other 80% lives in the rural areas and the tier 2 to 3 cities where expansion still has not happening. But now the private sector is expanding. With post-COVID, there are almost about 13 to 15 billion USD that the government is spending through various means to expand the healthcare infrastructure. And take it to the interiors. They are forming, networks of diagnostic labs, specialty hospitals. They're converting district hospitals to medical colleges. So a lot of work is happening through public-private partnerships as well. I just wanted to talk, take you through the healthcare mega trends that are impacting the way health sector is going to shape up. Now, when you look at the trend, I did talk about that government after post-COVID started, in fact, 2014, through Ayushman Bharat, we started focusing on preventive care. Why? Because the traditional way of dealing, inpatient disease is very, very expensive, not just for India, but also for the, for the developed world. And therefore, moving towards more promotive and preventive care, leading a healthy lifestyle, being more aware, doing early detection, going for free health checkups so that you can detect if you are impacted by any kind of health disease. And so that preventive care can be taken, and you don't land up in a hospital at a very advanced stage of this disease. So that is good both for the people as well as the government and the economy of the nation. So preventative and predictive healthcare is basically moving from a reactive model to a promotive model, and this is being facilitated by the various digital tools and technologies that we have. So we have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit that helps you to, monitor your your health. It guides you to lead to, how many steps you have done. So you do some, you're more oriented towards healthy living. So that is what is the first trend that we are moving towards. Democratized healthcare, what does it mean? According to WHO, the World Health Organization, almost 50% of population does not get access to healthcare across the globe. And therefore, because healthcare is extremely exclusive, it's expensive, and only the rich can afford it, or the governments that can provide free healthcare, they can afford it. So therefore, it is extremely important to have universal access of care, and again, digital technology is facilitating. You have platforms, you have apps, you have teleconsultation platforms where you can actually for free or for very little cost have a consultation and then go for further checkups or treatment. Personalized and precision health is again being driven by digital health. So, you have imaging technology that has evolved. You have genomics that is also, growing leaps and bounds. And then you have data, which is available in these digital platforms. Together, leveraged by AI, it actually helps to look at a very precision and personalized healthcare. It helps clinicians to, doctors to actually analyze a disease symptoms better, detect them early, and then treat them accordingly. And so G Healthcare is one of leading companies that actually provides precision care, healthcare solutions. Digitized healthcare. Now again, this is something, is very, very important because India, has been a pioneer by creating India Stack. It actually opened the window of UPI, Unified Payment Interface, which helped, real-time transfer of payment or by bank transfers. In the similar way, the government has come up with Health Stack. Now, what does this Health Stack do? It has the hospital and doctors registry. It has electronic health records, and it also has individual patient ID, provision to develop individual patient ID that will help interoperable transfer of patient data. So what happens is today, if I want to, I'm going to a hospital and I don't like or the treatment or the facility over there and I want to move to B, I have to go through a whole set of diagnostic tests, etc. again for the doctor in hospital B to look at me or treat me. But through this interface, the data will be transferred directly to the hospital B, and the data will be with the patient. It is not going to be with anybody. So I take, without any files, folders, a digital deck it is there all on the platform with my patient ID. The hospital B, we can check, look into my previous records and do the treatment. I can also move from one state to another. So that is going to facilitate a lot of mobility and ease the delivery of healthcare. Then there are, of course, body and biohacking, which basically talks about gene editing, genomics, prosthetics. These are something that are evolving. So I'm sure as science fiction, you must be seeing half machine, half human, so those kind of technologies are evolving. Then robotics and nanobots, again, this is also something many of you must have seen, that a surgeon remotely can do a robotic surgery through robos, or the surgeon is sitting in one corner of the room and the robo is doing, the surgery, precision surgery, with the instruction from the surgeon. And theranostic is also something similar, where you actually combine the nuclear medicine and molecular imaging technologies together to come up, where the doctor can suggest minimally invasive solutions, treatment, surgeries, etc., so that the cancer patient is treated in a way that the after effects of a traditional treatment is not seen, and the length of hospital stay, etc., is reduced. Datafication is something, again, we know that we have IoT, Internet of Things. Similarly, Internet of Medical Things is something which is evolving. It is going to be a 80 billion market in next few years. And today, actually, as GE Healthcare as a company, our devices are all connected. So because we have connected devices, we are able to deliver solutions that you can set up a EICU. So that it's again a kind of you have a command center where a critical care specialist sits in one hub and can monitor patients from spoke hospitals and instruct the bedside doctor to do the treatment according to the critical care requirements. So these kind of technologies are evolving. What is this going to do? It's going to make access easy. It's going to make healthcare inclusive and hopefully even affordable. So very quickly, if I move to private hospital sector, I'm sure every day in the newspapers you read, this private equity has taken up Apollo, that private equity. So, we have private equity companies like TPG, Temasek, Radiant, KKR, etc. They are all kind of taking stakes in various corporate chains like Manipal, Amrit, Medica, Max, BLK, and more than 110 PEs and VCs have actually invested since 2019. So India is becoming a very, very attractive market for private equity. There are, the health sector is growing at a very, very healthy rate of 16 to 17%, and is expected to reach about 132 billion. Actually, if you look at the entire healthcare subsector, by 2030, it will be anywhere near 750 to 800 billion dollar industry. So there's a lot of opportunity for youngsters like you to come in and start contributing into the sector. However, saying that, we still have a long way to go in terms of bed to population ratio or doctor to population ratio, and so there is a need for even if we actually, set up many medical colleges, we are never, in a traditional way, we will never be able to meet the requirements. So therefore, we will have to leverage on technology, on telemedicine, remote monitoring, EICUs, these kind of these things where we can actually accelerate and kind of leverage to provide healthcare in a more affordable manner. Coming to medtech sector, that's where I am working for the last 3 years now. It's a very, very complex industry. If you look at, there are about 5 segments, sub-segments within the medical technology. So at one hand, you have high-end medical imaging, devices like MRI, CT, PET CT, ECG machines, X-ray films, etc. At the same time, you also have hospital furnitures or dialysis instruments, blood pressure, stethoscope, your implants like artificial joints, hearing aids, consumables, syringes, needles, all those things, everything falls under the medical devices bucket. It's currently a very small, industry of only $11 billion, but it is expected, because government has announced in 2022 medtech as a sunrise sector, and it is expected by 2030 it should be anywhere near 35 billion USD, and by 2047 definitely more than 50 billion USD. It is currently a top 20 global market, and we are hoping as a vision that by 2047 we will be one of the 5 top medical device manufacturing destinations. and to do, to kind of help the sector to boom. So currently, if you look at, there are very handful of MNCs and domestic companies, like GE Healthcare, Siemens, Philips, and some of the domestic companies like Healthium, Polymedicure. These are the only ones who are doing manufacturing. 80% of high-end devices are imported. And this became very evident during COVID, because when the whole world was going, facing shortage of ventilators, oxygen concentrators, masks, sanitizers, suddenly the government realized that India doesn't even manufacture a mask in the country. We had to import. But what we did was the government came up with a very fast action, and in partnership with the industry, we were able to, start manufacturing and export as well. We also started locally manufacturing ventilators and other things. So post-COVID, government came up with a lot of schemes like the production-linked incentive scheme, which is across sectors. For medtech also there is. Then there is promotion for research and innovation program, and under all of this, and export promotion council, so that manufacturing of medtech in India can benefit out of it, and we are able to enhance our footprint in the medical devices sector. When we look at the opportunity of employment, now when you have already seen that there's so much of, so many things happening, and I didn't cover pharmaceutical, one big 60 billion universe, market over there. Health insurance is another, startup, health IT. So these are opportunities which are there. So I just kind of looked at, 4 big buckets, and, you can have a look at the kind of job profiles that are, available for these sectors. Almost 4% of the total employment is met by health sector, and we are the 4th largest, employment generator. And in health, apart from, so clinicians, nurses, paramedics, lab technicians, you also need public health specialists. That became more evident after COVID. And of course, your frontline health workers. In medtech, of course, you need electromechanical engineers, biotech engineers, computer scientists, data scientists, software engineers, you name it, shop floor technicians, management graduates, PhDs, postdocs. Similarly, in health insurance and pharmaceutical, you have all these opportunities. And these are some of the, government agencies, regulators, as well as some of the leading institutions from where you can have these education. Of course, like for example, AIMS, you study medical. From NIT, IIT, you can, obviously study engineering. I don't have to tell you all that. I just thought I will put this as this thing. Now, while our students are pretty much focused on technical skills, what is very, very important is to have soft skills. So, in all your 5 or 4-year program, 5-year program, you can, obviously acquire the technical skills. But what becomes important when you go into the industry, whether it is corporate or it is not a development sector or education, the soft skills become very, very important for your growth. So the first and foremost, empathy, having positive attitude. How do you manage your time? How do you manage your stress? Are you attentive? Are you adaptable? How good is your communication skill? It could be any language. It need not be English. But if you are good in Hindi, then you should be mastered in that communication mode. If you are good in Bengali, then you should be mastered in that mode. Communication in any language is extremely important, and that's how you will draw attention. Confidence, work ethics, very, very important. And particularly now with all this, deep fakes and digital frauds happening, ethics is extremely, extremely important. Teamwork and current affairs, knowledge of current affairs, of course. I will take a pause over here. Is there any questions or any comment anybody would like to make? Yes, please. I can see 2, 3 hands.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My question is that industrial healthcare still lacks required focus. So, what's your opinion on that?
Sorry, I didn't catch your question. Industrial healthcare, what does that mean?
Still lacks required focus. So, what's your opinion on that?
What do you mean by industrial healthcare?
Industrial healthcare, I said, should I repeat my question?
No, so I'm not very clear what you mean by industrial healthcare. You can educate me.
The healthcare with the employment.
See, healthcare has, as I mentioned, is not been a priority for the government for a very, very long time. It was only the COVID-19 pandemic which actually brought in that focus. Having said that, a lot of work is being now done, and so in next 10 to 15 years, you will see a lot of healthcare facilities that are coming up. To make it more accessible and affordable for people. When you say it's not been focus of government, that's what it is, right? But post-COVID pandemic, it has been now focus, and there is, I said, 13 billion USD, which is being invested into developing, expanding the healthcare infrastructure. So there is a Ayushman healthcare infrastructure mission that has been rolled out, under which hospitals, diagnostic labs, your PHCs, CHCs, that is the primary health center, community health center, all these things are being rolled out into the tier 2, tier 3 cities and rural and remote areas.
Hello.
Anybody else?
Yeah. Hello, ma'am. Thank you very much for this valuable talk. I have a question. I'm Dr. Amrit from Computer Science Department. My question to do any research on healthcare, because I have done my research on my healthcare. There's a glaucoma analysis detections. I faced a lot of problem related to data. Okay. So whenever we ask for data from any medical organizations or hospital, they charge for that. Okay. And actually, this data is generated by the public. Public already given the charge for that purpose, but now that data is basically authorized by that particular medical organization or institute. So how to get this valuable data for the further research? Because as an engineer to contribute for the medical science, we need this data because to propagate the knowledge of the engineering technology to the medical science. And that data is very much important. And that's a 7 lakhs, 8 lakhs data required for the particular research topic. Okay. So how to get this data freely, because our students are basically seeking those data, and they're freely available. If the data set or data bank is available here, so just kindly.
Yeah, so the reason why the hospitals want money for data is because you must be approaching the private hospitals. They are the ones who have digital data, right? Now, most of the public hospitals do not have any digitization, and therefore getting data from public hospital is difficult. But with this health stack being implemented, that is being hoped that this will be implemented across the public health, and therefore for research purposes, these data from the public, the government side will be available. Having said that, there are still a lot of, the personal data protection bill, which is, it's a evolving this thing. So unless those things are not put into perspective and a very clear path is given, there will be a little bit of a challenge over there. But maybe in next 3 to 4 years, probably things will pan out well.
No, is there any kind of data bank is available right now? Because I have no.
You should reach out to National Health Authority. Okay. They are the one who are rolling out the National Digital Health Mission. So any data that may be available at that level, you may get. I'm not sure in West Bengal, you could reach out to the Health Ministry and see whether they have done something. Because they have, the Health Secretary is a technology person. And he is definitely interested in it, but I don't know how far they have done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Before we take any further questions, I just very quickly wanted to talk about talk about GE Healthcare. So GE Healthcare has been a company, which has propagated innovation and R&D and precision healthcare. Yeah. So we are a legacy of Thomas Edison. The GE was set up almost 100 years, I think it was 1903 when this company was set up as a conglomerate. And in 2022, actually, we spun off from the GE corporate and we are now an independent company. Called GE Healthcare, and there are two more companies, GE Vernova, which is the GE Energy, and GE Aviation. They are going to be spinning off this year, January 2024. So total, we have about 4 million install base. When we say install base, meaning these are 4 million medical devices, in various hospitals across the globe. And in India, we function as a joint venture with Wipro Technology Private Limited. And we also have a JV with Bharat Electronics Limited. It's a PSU. We have 4 manufacturing units and 1 state-of-the-art technology center, R&D center in Bangalore. And we like to, we are now moving from being a pure medical devices imaging company to a digital medical device company and leveraging a lot of AI and data analytics. We also have pharmaceutical imaging agents that help enhance imaging procedures. So I already mentioned about, so we sell, we manufacture and innovate imaging technologies like MR, CT, PET CT, ultrasound machines, a lot of patient care solutions like monitoring solutions, anesthesia, respiratory care. We also have digital enterprise, where I talked about EICU, advanced visualization, etc. And we provide solutions. We are leaders, global leaders in providing precision health solution, theranostic, EICU, and remote monitoring. How do I click on the link? I wanted to show you a vision of 2030 healthcare from GE perspective.
Can you share me the link?
How will I share? Yeah. This is 2030.
The world
How
changes,
your life is going to change.
but some
Healthcare is
things
going to
never change. Difficult moments can make time stand still. But love can make a lifetime pass in the blink of an eye. You said I'd understand that someday. And then I blinked. And you were gone. Alarm off.
Good morning, Sophie. How did you sleep?
You tell me, Oz.
447 minutes of confirmed sleep, 34.2% REM. Slept like a baby.
Increase floor temperature.
Increasing floor temperature.
And start me a slow drip, will you? I'm going to take a shower.
Of course, Sophie. scheduled for you an appointment at the microclinic. Your full medical history and self-exam results from this morning have been confirmed received. And your primary care doctor, Liz Childress, has been notified of your appointment.
Sophie, we've been expecting you. I'm Lily, your technologist. Let me show you to your personal pod.
Mom, where do I begin?
Our pods will help put you at ease. They're equipped with sensory...
I remember you telling me how you would sing to me before I was born.
It's going to be okay. Before we do any further testing, we're going to go over the results of your self-exam. But first, let's give you the sensory atmosphere you requested, shall we?
That you were convinced it was why I have such great taste in music.
Step up to the scanner and relax your body. Remain still. And 3, 2, 1. Good. Lift your arm above your head. Remain still. And 3, 2, 1. Good.
How the mere thought of me was all it took for love to grow stronger than anything you'd ever known. The invisible things that consume us. Love. The fear you had dealing with this, and how different it is for me today.
You look great. All right, now you're just gonna lay down for me.
Facing the very same thing that took you from me. You told me once, we can look so deeply into ourselves that we miss what's most important.
So, I'm afraid the MRI does show a suspicious lesion in the left breast. Based on appearances and outputs from the artificial intelligence application, probability of malignancy is high. That's the not so good news. The good news is that we caught it early, and when we look at global
I've been
data,
thinking about that
we
lately,
predict an excellent outcome for you.
but I see something now that was harder for you to see back
Talk about
then.
next steps.
Hope. Hope in the world that surrounds me, in the people here to guide me through. You told me it was something I'd find when I needed it most. And I have.
Sophie, you've got a really good team here. As I told you before, I think things are looking really good. Oh. Hi, Mom. How's the news?
What I hoped for.
Look at her.
I just wish you could be here today to see it. And to meet your great-granddaughter. She has your smile.
Everything is set for tomorrow's party, Sophie.
So essentially, what did you see? That all the technologies that today we talk about, AR, VR, digital, everything was in your day-to-day life. With this, I just want to, this is my last slide. I wanted to talk about some 7 lessons that I can share from my own experience. First is that always value yourself, because if you don't value yourself, nobody else is going to value you. You have to take calculated risk. You cannot play safe all the time. So if your heart wants to do something and there is risk involved, go for it. Fear of failure is something that you have to overcome. If you do not take chance, there is no, there is very less rate of success that you will taste. Lifelong learning is going to be a part of life, because everything is going to be so rapidly evolving that you will have to not just technology, but the way the entire socio-economic fabric is going to change, the way environmental changes are happening. It will be, you will have to be up to speed on the latest knowledge and news. As I said, always follow your heart, success will follow. it's never too late to start. That, oh, I'm already now in my 20s and I have taken a different course of life and I actually wanted to do something else because my parents pressurized, so I went into engineering or into medicine or into pure science, but I want to do arts. Please go for it, because you will only find success where your heart lies. And always, always maintain work-life balance, because that is extremely important. While success in work is very, very important, but your family, your friends are equally important to give you a healthy life ahead, a balanced life ahead. So my 4 mantras for 21st century professional as you step into the economy or the industry is: education is very, very important. You have to be entrepreneurial, build an enterprise. Your Vice Chancellor said, don't be a job seeker, be a job creator. Have to be very, very empathetic, because there will always be people who would need your support. Don't show sympathy, be empathetic, so that you can put yourself in their place and then find solutions to resolve those challenges, and be egalitarian, because that is going to be the underlying requirement across the globe. So with this, I kind of come to end of my presentation. Just two very, what Thomas Alva in 1903, look at the vision of this man. He said, the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patient in the care of human frame, in diet and in cause and prevention of disease. That is where we are heading now in 2023, after so many years, almost more than a century and a half. And Mahatma Gandhi, said the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. I think Sister Nivedita University is epitome of that. So just follow that path. Thank you so much. I'm okay to take if there are any other questions.
Questions are there.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, ma'am. So my question is, how can data reshape healthcare?
How can data reshape healthcare? See, data basically, when it is available in platform, gives a lot of information of individuals, right? And when, so in terms of, it gives information about your habits, your lifestyle, your likes and dislikes. So that is one type of data. Then the patient data, which is available, where it gives you your genetic makeup, your kind of a disease patterns that you have, your inherent this thing. So when these are collated, and AI, through AI and data analytics, when they are analyzed, they throw up a whole lot of information for the doctors, which essentially they would do in their mind based on their individual knowledge. But today, they are getting a collective knowledge through these data analytics, by which they can analyze and find out what should be the treatment path and what kind of treatment solutions they should employ on the healthcare, on the patient. So that is helping in giving better treatment to the patients, better pain management, and when it is detected early. So for example, if you are an at-risk patient for cardiovascular or cancer disease, how are you at risk? Because your family has a history of, these diseases. Then you are monitored by the doctor based on those analytics. And if there are slight symptoms, then the doctor is able to arrest that further aggravating by treatment. So the patient is going through less pain, there's less expense being occurred because expensive treatment is not applicable by change of lifestyle or by way of, minimalistic, change in your habits. You can kind of control many of these symptoms. So that's how it helps.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
Ma'am, I have a question to ask that how will Industry 4.0 in health sector will be affordable to the economic backward classes?
So technology enables democratization of any, say healthcare or education, because it doesn't remain exclusive. It's not exclusive to one building or one location. For example, how each and every 1 billion individuals in India have a smartphone or at least a phone, right? Because it's a technology evolution. Similarly, when the technology pans out into healthcare or education, it makes it accessible and less expensive, because through technology, it's there on every iPad or in every tablet or on every this thing, and you can gain knowledge. Similarly, you can gain through telemedicine, through, remote monitoring. So for example, I am treated for, say, cancer, and then I go out of the hospital and I have to follow certain, treatment pattern, but I don't have to again come back to Calcutta if I'm staying in, say, some remote area in West Bengal. If there is a remote connection through remote monitoring apps or whatever, the doctor can monitor, so I save trouble of traveling, cost of traveling, and those kind of things. That is how the healthcare cost comes down.
Thank you, ma'am.
A very good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
My question is that how will NMC, that is the National Medical Commission, will take us to the next horizon of healthcare?
So NMC plays a very, very important role, because obviously it is, it's governing the medical education system, right? So the kind of curriculum that should be inducted into a medical course MNC is responsible, and also the numbers of doctors in a particular, program, particular year, the number of PG seats. So those kind of things are very, very important for MNC to, incorporate. So like, for example, there is, we have very few specialist doctors in India. Which is, in few thousands only. Whereas we need so many much more specialist doctors that are required. But if you look at the PG seats that are available, if I just take look at the nuclear medicine postgraduate courses, there are only 37 medical colleges in whole of India with some 100+ seats. So those kind of reforms NMC has to make. There are a lot of work happening through, trade associations and through, other government forums, where MNC, it was earlier Medical Council of India, because it was pretty much jaded and, corrupt organization. So it was changed into NMC to bring in that fresh thinking. So things are happening, and that's how, by bringing in the new technology, for example, a doctor needs to know, all the technological evolutions that are happening. I'll give you one example. In India, ultrasound machines are operated only by gynecologists or by obstetricians or radiologists. Now, during COVID, what happened? That the radiologists were not allowed to go into ICU. Most of the patients who needed to be monitored through ultrasound were in ICUs. And because it was so highly infectious, so none of the radiologists would go into ICU, and a critical care specialist did not know how to operate ultrasound. So these are some of the challenges that the country faces, and MNC is the body that can bring in those kind of reforms. Any other? Yeah, I can see a hand out there. Okay, after. There's a hand, somebody. I can't see, it's all dark, so you'll have to take help of
Hello.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Afternoon.
Today we got to know very much about the medical healthcare in India's situation from you. So thank you for that. So, ma'am, I have just a small question. I think, ma'am, data security is a very important thing. So, as described in India, recently a case study has been made where a data leak in the country from ICMR had more than 81.5 crore Indians data has been leaked, ma'am. So, of course, it is very important to digitalize the medical healthcare system of our country to better process all of this traffic. But, ma'am, if our Indians, our citizens are having their personal details, medical histories getting leaked. So, ma'am, I don't think it will discourage everyone from doing
No,
so.
so totally your concern is pretty valid, and I think government and industry is pretty much aware of it. There is a cybersecurity law that is still not implemented. It is still under discussion. So with the personal data protection bill and cybersecurity law coming into place, there will be some protection that will be given, and definitely when digitization will happen at that level, at every level data security has to be managed, and that's a challenge that everybody is cognizant with, and with time it will be looked into.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think one last question. I can hear a girl's voice.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, we all know the health data is extremely sensitive. So what about the security of this data?
Sorry?
So what about the security of this data?
So the health data is not going to be handed over to any, for research purpose or for anything without being anonymized. So it's not going to be that individual personal data is going to get into anybody's hand. So the individual data remains in control of the patient, right? And when there is any data that is going to be shared with any institution for research purpose, it gets anonymized. That's the practice that everybody follows. And that's how it's going to be.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much for your patient hearing.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the very informative and very fascinating session. And I suppose the students have also got the answers of their questions. With that, we have come to the end of this session. Now, I would like to call Mrs. Ina Bose, Director, IIC and Industry Connect, Sister Nivedita University, to offer the formal vote of thanks. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Madam Shobha Mishra Ghosh. It was wonderful to have you with us today. And students, a big thank you goes for all of you for patiently attending, listening. I'm sure you were all engrossed in the session. So was I. I was really engrossed. A few little things I would like to share, how the country is evolving, developing, going forward. Sometime mid-90s, 93, 94, 95, can anyone tell me which was called the sunrise industry, sunrise sector? It was the IT industry. And now, we are almost closer to mid-2020s. We are calling medtech as the sunrise industry. So we have evolved. So we have gone ahead. I'll give a small example. Just a few days back, I met a gentleman who said that he was the first one, he's a Bengali, he's from Kolkata. He said he was the first one in Asia to be using a CPAP machine. I don't know whether you're aware of what a CPAP device is. Try to find out. And now probably every 1 in 10, you'll find using a CPAP device. So that's how really things are evolving, and medical devices are really now part of our lives. Even I would say your smartwatch and the various apps that are in the market are really helping us a lot. And as ma'am said, employment opportunities are a galore. We have so many options. Come out of the conventional, the stereotyped job ideas and think beyond. And in SNU, you know, we have a very strong Institutes Innovation Council where we encourage innovations, we encourage entrepreneurship. So please come forward and contact us for whatever help you need. Become innovative, think beyond. Thank you. Thank you, Binal, for organizing such a wonderful program. Thank you.